It's my most vibrant setup yet. Journey with me to India for the Holi Festival. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth, and this year I'm using my bullet journal to visit festivals and celebrations around the world. For March, that celebration is India's Holi Festival. As usual, I have everything sketched out and ready to go. My first plan for this setup was a royal mess that necessitated the removal of a page. So I do have a little patch here that isn't ideal, but mistakes happen. Sometimes they are far from small, and sometimes, like this time, they lead to something better. As you can see, March is going to be a colorful month. To get the vibrant colors from India onto the page, I am using Archer and Olive Acrylographs. I used to label my acrylographs, but honestly I lost track. Most of these are from the primary and jewel toned collections, plus a gold from the metallic set. I'll begin by creating a Happy Holi header to make it clear what I am celebrating this month. This font is called Samarkand. It gives our Latin or English alphabet a Hindi look and feel. I will link it and all of the supplies for this setup in the description box below. I am fascinated by India. It's in the top 3 of my Wanderlust list. Indian cuisine is my favorite, and I'm lucky to have sampled dishes from multiple regions, yet I have never been to the country. India isn't a country I just want to visit. It's a place I want to immerse myself in for a long period of time, experiencing its vibrant melting pot of cultures for myself, including its many festivals. Holi is considered as one of the most revered festivals of India, and it is celebrated in almost every region. The vibrancy of colors is something that evokes positivity. Holi is sometimes called the Festival of Love, as people unite together, forgetting resentments and bad feelings toward one another. The ritual starts by lighting a bonfire one day before Holi. This fire symbolizes the triumph of good over evil. And on the day of Holi, people celebrate with color. The colors of Holi are called gulal. Sometimes it is a cornstarch-based concoction mixed with dyes. I've chosen to show gulal in gold shallow bowls, in both top-down views and from the side. I used the gold acrylograph to rim these bowls. I did draw the circles with a template, but I'm going to freehand coloring them in. For this setup, I definitely prefer the organic, hand-drawn vibe. The tradition of playing with colors stems from a legend just as colorful. According to the story, Lord Krishna, a very dark Indian god, was jealous of his soulmate Radha's fair complexion. Young Krishna complained to his mother about this injustice. To placate the child, she suggested he apply color on Radha's face to change her complexion. This game of applying colors evolved from tradition to full-fledged festival. The application of color has, in a way, become an expression of love. You can learn more about the history and tradition of this celebration at holifestival.org. In addition to the rounds of gulal, the other major artistic components I'm using for this are splatters of color, kind of like paint splatter. Swoops of color in various sizes, not unlike the Nike swoop, and hands. All the shapes are fairly simple, but coloring them across all my spreads took almost 5 hours. Since this Holi setup was the first on my festival list when I chose this annual theme, I think it was time well spent. This pandemic has taken such a toll on pre-planning that I don't need a lot of space on the monthly level. I've also been setting up the full month lately, which allows me to move items directly from my future log to the week on which they belong. Hopefully, someday soon, we will begin making the big plans far in advance once again, like finally planning a trip to India. I will also use these circles of gulal to house my March header, as well as headers for events, focus or goals, and moments. I do separate events and moments. Moments are more of the big things as opposed to day-to-day planning. The smallest of the circles will be a March mini calendar. I did need a finer tip to write in the dates, so I'm using a white gel pen, also from Archer and Olive. The ruler is merely a guide to keep everything mostly straight. a few more finishing touches, and this very colorful March cover page celebrating the Holi Festival is complete. I started 2022 doing a monthly challenge, and the next spread will be a combination of that challenge along with a mood tracker. Until it's fully filled in, this will be the least colorful of this setup. I dubbed this month Mindful March. If you are new to this channel, I am wildly transparent about living successfully with bipolar disorder, and right now, I'm not doing that great. Between the stress this pandemic has put on all of us, combined with a very difficult understaffed working situation, I simply haven't been caring for myself as I should. This month, I want to switch my focus back to me and bring color back into my day-to-day life instead of merely trudging through the gray. I will have some Gulal art on this page as well, so I started with adding the gold where those bowls of color will live. For the header on this spread, I chose a single color instead of giving it the rainbow treatment like I did the cover. I get less and less precise with this font throughout the month, maintaining enough of the original font integrity to get the look I want without trying to make it perfect. In the center of the page is the mood tracker. The color code for the mood tracker will be bowls of the Gulal going from best to worst. I'll use the colors yellow, orange, green, dark teal, and blue. For Mindful March, I will have a prompt each day to remind me to take care of myself. Instead of setting up the prompts in a linear list like I did the January challenge, or a standard calendar as I did February, this month I framed the page with 31 boxes. The boxes are 5 dot grid spaces square. The two across the seam do end up slightly odd rectangles, but I wanted a square across the middle and decided while sketching that I was okay with this oddity. As I mentioned earlier, I'm freehanding as much as possible instead of using a ruler for crisp lines. While the ruler does make a couple cameos in this feature, it's been a freeing experience to not use it as much. I am compiling a list of Mindful March prompts. It is not yet complete, so these boxes will remain empty until we are closer to March. They will include self-care items like take a walk or breathe deeply for 1 minute. To see how I fill them in, come hang out with me on Instagram. One of my 2022 goals is to lean into Instagram and post there more often. It's been a slow start, but I have a plan to make it more robust. The body of the mood tracker will be another top-down view of Gulal with color swirls and splotches. For now, these are simply outlined in one color, and I did end up with one extra shape. At the end of the month, this spread will be as bright and vivid as the others. That's it for monthly pages, so let's set up the first weekly. Because I'm focusing on mindfulness, I've added a tracker to my weeklies this month. I'm taking full advantage of the extra space in this B5 journal, so there is a lot on the page. Conscious mindfulness was not a part of my mental health plan until April 2020 when, like so many others, I found myself at home, alone, with no job, and feeling purposeless. That's when I discovered the Where Is My Mind podcast by Niall Breslin. It stripped away the mysticism of mindfulness for me, and I highly recommend checking out that podcast from the very beginning. The first element on each weekly is a box for daily events and micro-journaling. These boxes are 10 by 14 dot grid spaces. While this red color is still in my hand, I'm also using it for the mini calendar M for March header, as well as a self header for my self-care tracker. Then I'll switch to a dark yellow color for the frames around my rolling weekly and weekly dinner plan. For the decorative structured shapes on the page, I did use various stencils during the sketch phase. This self-care tracker is explained in one of my older videos about mental health. I will link it here in the cards above as well as in the description box below. It's set up like a productivity tracker, but for those things that start slipping through the cracks when the darkness is setting in. My categories are medications, sleep, personal care, clean space, socializing, and drinking enough water. The idea is to level up from level 1 to 3 as much as possible. I'll color in one square on each day for the items I do. For someone in a deep, dark place, and believe me, I've been there, something like personal care may need to be broken down to the most basic of tasks, such as getting out of bed, brushing teeth, shower, etc. One self-care habit tends to lead to another and can, but not always, lift a person just enough out of the gray. I'll finish off this weekly by adding in the splotches and swooshes of our Happy Holi theme. To see the rest of the weeklies, stay tuned for the flip through, but for now we will add some finishing touches like the dates to our box headers, and then it is time to move on to the reflection page. For the main categories of this reflection page, I designed a frame for each of the four corners that has a hand covered in the colors of the Holi Festival. Here I'm coloring in the frame in the top left corner. This one will be for my successes in March. The bottom left is for challenges or things I found difficult. The top right is for global events, and the bottom right is for a list of my favorite things this month. And of course, we need some gulal splashed around the page. For the header, I went with the similar rainbow pattern as the cover, only this time I started the red in the center and then branched the rainbow out toward the sides. I love how the acrylographs have brought this setup to life with such saturated color, and that I was able to use so many more than I usually do. The quality of Archer and Olive products, along with their continued focus on mental health, is one of the reasons I am proud to be an affiliate. If you would like to purchase some acrylographs or one of their exquisite notebooks, the new spring line launches tomorrow. Click the link below or head over to archerandolive.com to check out all the new goodies. To support this channel, use the code DMB10 at checkout for 10% off. You'll get an additional discount at no cost to you, and I will earn a small commission. To finish off the reflections page, I need space for a summary. I've chosen to place it inside this doorway shape, which is prevalent in Indian architecture. That will wrap up the March setup, so let's flip back through all of our pages, including the other 4 weeks of the month. I first conceived the idea of doing a year of festivals and celebrations in March of last year, so I'm thrilled to finally see this Holi Festival spread come to life, with all of its vivid colors. This much color is such a departure for me, but there is no better theme than this to break me away from black, white, and gold. As you can see, I changed the color palette on each of the weeklies. Here is another look at the self-care level up tracker. Another new element for me is the dinner planner. I tend to plan a week of dinners and then never cook specific meals on the days they were planned due to my crazy work hours. So I put them in a rolling weekly where I can put them on the planned day and then mark when they were actually made and consumed. I hope you enjoyed this journey to India's Holi Festival. Let me know you made it this far by leaving any emoji and your favorite color in the comments below. To further support this channel, give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and consider subscribing to be a full-time member of this growing Dots and Beyond community, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when I upload new content. From whenever and wherever you are watching, I'm honored you chose to spend part of your day with me. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. And don't forget to check out the other festivals we've visited thus far in 2022.